Alright, Treasury Financial Manual, Volume 2, Part 8, Chapter 3000, Liquidation Procedures to fail with the Depositories. Chapter prescribe the procedure to fail with the Depositories. 310, Scope of the liability. Chapter only outlines procedure of the Federal Reserve Bank with a range of the file of the financial institution for all with a definite failed depository in Section 3020 below. Note that only apply with the financial institution as designated with the depository, financial agent, U.S. government, participate in Treasury investment program, hold a deposit fund with the trust parent, pursuant with any other statute regulation. Also note that the procedures apply with those financial institutions will not reopen. Section 3015, Authority, Title 12, U.S. Standard Code 391, Section 3020, Definition Terms. ATBC amount to be collateralized. The amount of the funds that must be collateralized is determined by the pledgee with the communicate with the pledger with the Treasury Collateral Management Monitoring System or by any other means. CUSIP, Community Uniform Security Identification Procedure, that normally unique and 9-digit character with the code, often use the term security description identifies specific security of the Community Uniform Security Identification Code. Root is first 5 or 6-digit number. The remaining numbers identification specific issue of the Community Uniform Security Identification Procedures is part of the American Bankers Association custodian and neutral third party authorized to hold collateral for Title 31 CFR Part 225 collateral. Federal Reserve Bank acts as a custodian. Depository financial institution that has designated with the depository financial institution agent of the U.S. government, which holds public trust funds per any other statute or regulation, including Title 31 CFR Part 225. Failed depository state federal regulatory authorities have declared insolvent with the depository for which the reserve received the conservator, liquidator, or other similar officer that have appointed to terminate operations in any and/or depository with a voluntary by action. Regulatory authorities have taken an action to terminate operations. Letter of indemnification, letter signed with the receipt furnished by the Treasury, secured with the Treasury feature unforeseen claims due to the federal government, failed depository, sample the letter and Appendix A. Obligor, the debited debtor, such person, firm, corporation, government, and the obligated by contract or the legal requirement to perform such actions to payment of the notes and bonds. Receiver, regulatory authorities, such as Federal Deposit Insurance Company appointed to take custody of and preserve the assets, failed depository for benefit creditors according to federal and state statutes. 3025 General Approach to Federal Reserve Banks. Federal Reserve Banks will file with the Federal Reserve, proceed with the liquidating collateral failed bank with the hold with the public fund with the Treasury invest fund with the funds with the held in the trust with the government program. Federal Reserve Banks will communicate the failure as well with the relevant information collateral page. The ATBC government agencies or the amount to be collateralized government agencies affected with the Federal Reserve will first work with their receivers to ensure full satisfaction government claim begins with the depository liquidation. If the Federal Reserve forward proceeds from sales security to the Treasurer for proper account with the relevant government agency funded risk. Section 3030 announcement of depository failure upon receipt of the official notification of the regulatory authority deposit covered under the chapter is being closed with the otherwise failed. The Federal Reserve Bank will send an email identification indicating name and location staff of failed depository bureau official services. In addition, identification failed depository email should include the date of failure of the deposition. Failed the depository acquired with another institution played into the receivership the collateral program for which the depository has collateral and the amount to be collateralized or the amount to be collateral pledged. Section 3035 subsequent communication. Federal Reserve Bank must inform the officials of the following information as soon as it becomes known with the Federal Reserve Bank periodically until the whole satisfaction is attained. 1. List obligation pledged with the failed depository collateral programs under these obligation pledged. 3. Descriptive information obligations. 4. Location of securities. 5. Balance of all public money government deposit account with the failed depositories. Contact receiver the applicable the federal agencies need to make a determination. 6. Steps that to be taken off receiver the full statement of the government claims against the failed depository. Steps taken for the process liquidate collateral by the Federal Reserve Bank, include the amount of the funds still at risk, the final disposition of the Federal Reserve Bank letter certification. Section 3040 additional protection of government interest. Federal Reserve Bank must act to protect with the government interest of performing all tasks needed to prevent the last funds of the risk held by the failed depository. Examples of the Federal Reserve Bank's actions listed below: serve notice for the obligors, the repayment of the principal, the interest. Federal Reserve Bank hold payments of principal, interest expense account. Obtain a letter identifying identity from receiver. Prevent third-party custodians from releasing collateral. In your contact there would be the Department of Treasury Bureau official serve the Bank Policy Oversight Division. And they show the appendix list and the appendix letterheads. Section 3000, Liquidation Procedure Failed Depository, Part 8, Volume 2.